All right, here's what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at a magnet. Okay. What we're gonna do is we're gonna look at a circular round magnet. It'd be a perfect circle. Sort of like how if you look up at the moon and the sun, full moon, even a new moon, if you can catch it, you know, you'll see the circumference and it'll be perfect. Just like a iris or pupil. Circular, a sphere. But this magnet has a field to it. You know what I'm saying? Everything's got to have an opposite. Everything has to have an opposition in order for it to counter, I guess. I'm just some dummy, so the terminology that's used in the world today for experts and for people of high education, that's not real. You know, so this is coming from a damn alcoholic from the hospital bed. But you're never taught about a magnet in high school. You're never taught about this. The field that this magnet has. And some of y'all you watched that video and you saw that. Because what we're doing is we're looking at like a coil of a counter to what we're in right here below us. And you know, you hear the black sun, this and that, and the whole Tesla coil. But anyways, okay, the more we're not taught in school that we need to read something and then think about it or ponder on it for a while and just look and pay attention to nature. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention to the seasons. Something that you're never taught. You're not taught that. You're taught to just memorize. Here, it's A, B, C, or D. It's not learning. That's not real. And the brain can't be turned on. So, if we can fight through all that ignorance, and through all the ignorance of, look at me, I'm a hot shot, and I know everything. I live in the best neighborhood ever, and my money's not real. You've been tricked. It's all a big trick. So what we're going to do is we're going to not figure out, but we're going to apply what little bit that we have acquired, this knowledge, just by sitting back and observing very smart individuals on another level, man. They're very intelligent. But what we're going to do is let's look at we're going to look at this magnet. Okay? And what I'm going to do is there's two fields. Okay, do you see how that's pulling to the center? That's pulling to the center of it. This is pulling to the center. And this is for dummies. This video is for dummies. With no terminology, we're going to make sense. You can see that. So in reality, we're looking at this upside down. Because we're going to look at a mushroom effect. Now we're going to flip it over. Do you see that? Now it won't. Now what we're looking at is this. Okay, right here in the middle, this part right here. This is this magnet. So this is going to be Earth. Okay, and it all has to do with perfect geometry, I guess. I'm trying to think of the term that we've never heard, because there's like astrological or astronomical mathematics that's on another level that we should know everything. Our brains should be on another level to where if somebody says, what's 6,882 times 46? And you should be able to go, blah, 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 just like a computer. But we can't. We just can't do it. So if I put this magnet right here, okay, that field that it's going around, all right, do you see it won't go nowhere? It's a big mushroom. So it would be on the inside of this right here. It will not go into the middle, that magnet. It's going everywhere around it. So if we're looking at it from over the top, that's right there. There's your target symbol. Yeah, and there's that and all kinds of other shit. There's the bells on the churches, the dumbbells, you know, all kinds of stuff. But anyways, we're looking at this. That's why they've pushed donuts so much. When New York was going through a bunch of poverty and shit on purpose in the early 1900s, you saw, you can go back and see it, it'll say free coffee and donuts. See, it doesn't say free spring water that is so rich in cell salts and everything, and all kinds of food grown natural. Nope, sorry. You know, and then you go back to a reset. But it doesn't matter. Our whole point is when we're looking at this, over the top of this, okay, this field, this right here is going straight up to the middle. Okay, so this field right here is going to be coming out up here. It's just one big circuit. And also, too, you can liken these to your lungs. Because in Scripture it says you're an image of God. And truthfully, you're an image. You are. You're an image of what all this is. This is your spinal cord too right here. Because you are the center and this is the center right here. But when we're looking at over this right here, turbulence is when you're going through this magnetic field. When they're flying around on this disc, you know what I mean? And you've got 12 dorsal vertebrae, which are 12 disc disciples in here that's connected to all this. Now this is where I don't know anything about, what is it, neurons and all this other shit that's disintegrating over and over right here, just feeding right back into it over and over. Do you understand? Because within right here you're going to have the equator. You understand? So this right here is going to be your equator. And we've already done a couple of videos about this. Okay, but this magnet right here speaks more than volumes. Because, I mean, look, I was a hardcore alcoholic. It really takes you getting hit in the head. Like, but that was me playing my role by this system, by design, by advertising it and making it to where if you can't handle it, then you're the problem. Not the problem is the one distributing it, because then you've got to tie in the campaign of the billboards, ads, magazines. Now we'll get to this. See, the magnetic field that we're inside of, that's coming through us, that rubber and everything blocks, is the same way that they'll add mag to magazine, because the magazines create in the brain a lie. So this entity doing all this, it takes what's ours. See, without us, it's every design and invention that you see comes from the human anatomy and from this. All this that's projecting, you know, and it's this magnetic field. You know, and think about it. This being stationary, look, just feel the pull. You see it's moving. You see that? So it's pulling to the center. So that means it's rushing through what we can't see. And we have no idea who we are. Don't even have a clue of who we are. So what they do is this reset, and let's keep them inside the GOI. Let's put them inside Time magazine. Time has to do with Saturn, Aquarius. Saturn's going to be ruling Aquarius for the first 1,000 years. And if you're in Scripture, it's warned you. It's here. You know, and Saturn represents time. You know, that's why TikTok is so big, because time is running out. But this magazine creates false brain waves of emotions. Emotions are real. You will see them when you cross over to the other side. All emotions and fear become a mural of your existence when you cross over. You see it all, and you'll see what you've been missing out on. So instead of us knowing the magnetic field, okay, that the magnolia tree knows all about, yeah, it's a very big tree, very big, 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 big. And we don't think about it, the magnolia at the Masters and shit like that. You know, they use Magneto and X-Men. I mean, it's like, oh God, and what is he doing? He's moving bridges and shit, like, because in this magnetic field, we've got gold, silver, copper, all this, and here, those lights, which are projected here, you know, the sun is going to, it represents gold. The moon, silver. It's what's going to give it, and others, all these others produce together the elements that you and I need in order to fly around in our free energy that we had forever. And then this entity, whatever the fuck it is, has took it upon itself to destroy not only everything, but obliterate it, melt it, cover it up. And tells us, like in the Mockingbird, whatever, those movies, the sorcerers, the wizards that make them. He says that I will blow up your city, I will burn it to the ground, and I will cover it up to where nobody even knew it ever existed. And it's just a movie, man. I understand, but that's Hollywood, and it's the sorcerers. And they tell us what they do. You know, and somehow inside right here, they have figured out, but how in the hell did they have this knowledge to destroy everything that was there? Because all the quarries are just a false illusion of what they're taking down. They're slowly making sure that nobody can ever find out what was here. And they've used the technology that this is. All your circuit boards, and every piece of equipment, AI comes from all this. This is where AI comes from. This is the geocentric, is this big cell that we're in, and we're made of trillions of cells, and the embryo comes from one cell. And the moon and the sun is going to represent the pineal and the pituitary here. And that's what's going to charge us. Charge us. And now you get caught and have to go to court because you're charged. This is a circuit. These are all on circuits. And you go to circuit court. And this is all magnetic. The three magi knew all about it. Oh, and you've got in your little shows, the magus, you know, the little sorcery. What do they know? They know something. The word magic comes from that shit. Y'all know that. You know, but it's what it is. It's Target, it's the donut, it's the black hole, if you will. They say in Egypt, this is the bird beak, you know, the bird beak coming out of here, and the alligator head. You know, I mean, this is heavy shit. It's like, how in the hell? But I didn't ask for this. All I wanted to just not drink. But when, you know, you really get broke down enough, because forever it was like, oh, I'm going to do this on my own. And then I stumbled into AA, and AA is the 12 steps, 12 constellations. You know, you do this, there's your symbol on all your churches, bullseye and all that other shit. But the 12 steps, 12 degrees, the blue book is what it's called in AA. Blue, it's going to represent Saturn. The symbol we have for AA is right here, the quintessence. Right there, number one on the alchemical table of symbols, not the Goy table of... I've forgot all the dumb names that they've made up for the shit. The periodic table. There you go. And alchemical is just you. You're the chemical. You're made of chemicals. You're made of fluids. And all this in here is what charges the fluids in you. That golden substance, yellow-like substance in the pineal gland comes from the sun, and the white-like substance, milk-like, comes from the moon. The land of milk and honey, as it talks about in the Bible, is in your brain. And this is the left and the right hemisphere. You know, you've got the lungs in here. You're an image in all this. And all this rubber and asphalt and everything they've created, it blocks what I was talking about. You need to think about that. You know, there's a force. Listen, you realize we've played around. This can't happen on a ball. You can't have this on a ball. It has to be that right there. And this is so simple that you should be like, holy shit. And it's like, where does everything that you believe in come from? TV. If we could add up all the hours of movies that you've watched in your lifetime, let's say you're 40. I don't know how many hours, but I can tell you this, I can quote the same quotes that you can in the funny movies. And those movies are put out there to dumb us down. It's to make us go do our job, slave labor, and then go, and then go have fun and spend fake money. Money is your blood, and the moon is going to rule the fluids in the anatomy. Yeah, it's where you're going to get your, and as long as they make it as far away as possible, then you're just disconnected. This is the apple when you cut it in half. The apple. There's the stem right there. And I got an Apple computer. Well, this is where it all comes from. The the red, when we get into the magnetic field of it, the apple gets its, is sweetness from the light, the magnetic field of Saturn. As like Saturn goes into the roots, okay? Look, this is the thing is we're going to see Saturn, Jupiter, Mars. That's the layers. And then it's, Moon, Venus, Mercury. Those are the layers. I might have them mixed up. But the orbs up here, as you know, is fake planets. When we're looking at plant life and tree life and all that, it's a lie. Those penetrate, that's protruding up there, and then it's protruding right back. And those small boys, and then the big boys right here. The big boys is what push them up. That's what pushes. Saturn's Lord of the Rings. He's the furthest out. His brother, the sun, is right there, closest in, Saturday, Sunday. So it should make sense. Saturn being the furthest out, the roots being the furthest in. Saturn, the orb of Saturn, your bones wouldn't exist if Saturn's not there. The orb, the man name is the man name. So if you don't get burned up, then what's the last thing to go? Bones. Calcium phosphate, which represents Saturn, rules the bones. Do you see? Everything's the furthest out. Lord of the Rings comes from Saturn, the movie. Comes from nothing but Saturn. This is very important right here that we do not know. Every one of these have a cell salt. Every one of these have colors. They have all kinds of cool shit going on. Every day you could be learning how every day of the week comes from the orbs up there. Right there. Every day that you live comes from those orbs right there. That's the way that this thing has been set up and how the ancients set it up throughout history. And then they have slowly came in, and they didn't even come in. They created the dumbest group of people to ever exist. And I love you. Hell yeah.